Ponytown is no stranger to lore, and I've talked about it before on the channel, from the shipwreck that can be found at the beach, or the hidden ruins which can also be found kind of close to another beach. These are just small examples of lore found on the main map. However, what are some examples of lore that we can find on the party island or within the items themselves? Ponytown is full of different knowledge and stuff like that, and the chalkboards show just that, from how pearls work and function, to plants and their growth, to several different books that you can find on different subjects, from carrots to flowers to music to moon phases or maybe space as a whole, to even some kind of witchery type deal. Whatever this is, it seems witchy anyway. Even ghosts. There is a lot of lore and history and knowledge found within the books and the chalkboard. Now, the chalkboard does continue teaching you about different kinds of mushrooms and how to make a snow pony, which I think is more of a lovely, nice Easter egg, I guess, more than anything. But moving on, there is still more knowledge to be found in the Ponytown items. In the poster 3 object, you can find 4 different colored versions, which also teach you more about the world that you live in. For example, we can see the brain and skull of the ponies in this world. They seem kind of small, honestly. There is science-y stuff here. This may just be more notice about safety and things like that, but it still feels like it's part of teaching you something. There is something about crystals that we can learn from this image, or even photosynthesis or just plant cycles right here as well. Moving on, we can go from knowledge that exists in Ponytown to things that happen in Ponytown. The other posters and notices in this game contain different things, from some kind of gym or workout routine or something to that effect, some kind of birthday party or some kind of special party happening, some kind of music or concert perhaps happening, maybe some kind of camping trip over here, some other notice, maybe a book club or something to that effect here. So many different things are happening in Ponytown all at the same time. And if you want to go extra crazy, this poster specifically implies that aliens exist and that we are knowledgeable about them, that we know they exist. Alternatively, this is probably just like, oh, do they exist? Come find out at the observatory or at the space center, or come find out at our camp trip where we go look at the stars. Some kind of thing like that. Either way, though, this is just a plethora of different things that show things are happening in this world. There's even a pamphlet box, which is not only just something you can place on your island, but it is actually found in the library map, which means there's other things to know or learn about this continent, I guess, this location, this Ponytown. There is so much to know about it, and this alone kind of implies that, because these usually are like touristy type stuff. They can be filled with other knowledge and things like that, but I think that is kind of fun. Moving on from things that are happening in the world to more of a history lesson, we have important figures in this world. There are clearly important figures and characters that exist in this world. For example, we have this picture right here, this photo. It clearly is depicting some kind of place or person in it. Again, I have no idea what this is depicting. Let me know in the comments what you think it is. I always see like a sailor or like a fisherman or something, but that's besides the point. This is clearly depicting some kind of character or location. What is that location? Why is it important? Why do we have a framed photo of it? Then, of course, there is the pony bust, which is this old looking character with glasses and a bun and like a collared shirt and stuff like that. Who is this character? Why is there a bust of this person? And then finally, there is the trophy, which could just be depicting just nobody, just like how trophies in real life do, and it just doesn't matter. Either way, though, this could possibly be depicting another person. But even if it's not depicting another person, like, you could just get rid of that. There are other characters that are depicted in Ponytown through the items that may or may not have some lore behind them. And that is the pictures. These depict so many different characters. Some of them might look familiar, and I'll talk about that in a second, but there is 7 of these. Are they all related? Are they unrelated? What is this? I like to think that it is some kind of family tree, and I'm gonna lay them out exactly how I think that family tree would go. So this is kind of about how I would expect the lineage to play out based off of the colors and details and styles and things like that that we can see. Now, I think that it starts with these two characters, they fall in love, they get together, they have a child. This person's spouse is missing, but then they have a child of their own, which would probably be either the pink character or the blue character. Either way, the pink, let's just say it's the pink character who is their child, they fall in love with this blue character who then has a child of their own, which is either this green character or this yellow character, and then let's say it's the yellow character falls in love with the green character who then has their own children. What is this exactly implying? Is this a family tree? Is that actually what's happening here? What is going on? I really genuinely don't know, and I don't think we'll ever know, but there is one more thing I want to talk about with the pictures, and that is that this specific picture kind of looks similar to the pony bust. They have a bun in their hair, they have this colored shirt kind of thing going on. It kind of seems like it's very similar to the character. Additionally, there are other characters that look similar to each other. For example, this one looks kind of similar to this one. I don't know if you guys can kind of see it, what I'm going with here, but they kind of look similar, just one with color, one without, one with a top hat, one without. The hairstyles are a little bit similar. They have like the same colored shirt thing going on. So I do feel like some of these characters are definitely related to each other. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the pictures, but I think that is definitely something that has a lot of lore behind it as well. Is it really that case though? Who's to say? Next up in important figures or important characters in the world, that is Fez and Offline. The fact that these characters have an entire plushie model of them, not just these versions of them, but there's the smaller one and even smaller version of these characters, implies that these characters are important to this world somehow. How are they important? Well, that's to be seen. Perhaps this character fell in love with some other character and they had a child like Fez, and then they fell in love with Offline, and then maybe they had their own children or something to that effect, but we haven't seen those children yet. Maybe that is the continued lineage of these characters. Who knows? But either way, they are important to some extent because there is literally pony plushies of them. That's how I feel of it anyway, but let's move on to something else. This honestly kind of is hard to categorize, but I'm just going to call it magic as a whole. Crystals are implied to have magic to some extent, or at least some amount of properties, especially since we are collecting them. There's an entire mine of these things that have been collected. They're being shipped out through mine carts. There's boxes full of them. They're just everywhere. There's all kinds of items made with them. They're in the library with scales and stuff like that. As we saw earlier, there is a poster that seems to be teaching you something about them. There is definitely some lore behind the crystals, and so we're going to throw that in here on this list as well. In addition, we're also going to talk about these two bottles right here, which clearly are some kind of poison or something. They're listed as a potion in the build menu, but the fact that there's potions and things like that definitely implies more magic than what we may have already been aware of, especially since we get into the final category, which is the curse. That's right, I believe Ponytown is actually cursed. If we take a look at this item right here, the spooky tree, it contains 2 eyeballs. This could be anything, but I like to think that it's a pair of eyeballs looking at you, and it is something dangerous or spooky. It's definitely a ghost or some kind of spirit or something to that effect, right? But then there's also the gravestones, which are fine by themselves, and maybe you could find some lore from that. But during Halloween, ghosts actually appear out of these gravestones and try to spook people or get spooked by people before returning back to the grave. This means that there is some kind of spiritual hauntedness thing going on in this world, and I think that is one of the coolest details about this game and some of the coolest hidden lore that you can find within just the items in this game alone. Let me know if there's any other items in the game that you think contain lore of their own, or if there's anything about the items I showed off in this video that I missed that may contain even more lore. And of course, I'd love to hear any of your other opinions and ideas and suggestions down there in the comments below. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that. Because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful. They're kissing now.